In the words of that legendary colonel from the A team known as Hannibal, I love it when a plan comes together. There is a plan, and I love it when a plan comes together. This is Tuesday Night Live, my brothers. What's going on? What's happening? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Welcome, 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 my brothers. I hope you guys are doing well on this evening. We got to have a conversation, my guys. We have to have a serious conversation. What's going on, Chemistry Ibmore? What's going on, John Smith? Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the thumbnail, yes? Oh, Keisha, and oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the thumbnail. We got to talk about Keisha tonight, guys. We got to talk about Keisha tonight. We got to talk about Keisha tonight. What's going on? Ron Matthews, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. That's right. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. That's right, John Smith. That's right, John Smith. We're gonna talk about that, man, tonight. Talk about that tonight, brother. It is a coordinated effort, my brother. Yes, it is. Let me tell you something. You hit the nail on the head. Slave catchers, that's what they are. Slave catchers. They don't want you to be free, black man. They don't want you to be free. They don't want you to be free. DG B-side, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Good to see you, man. Glad you're in the house. This is the Mad Professor broadcast, the Mad Professor broadcast. Oh, guys. Man, I am on a roll. I am on a roll. I am on the roll. We are on the roll. We are on the roll because we are in this together. We are in this together, man. There's so many things. So many things. What's going on, Ab Media? Good to see you, my brother. What's going on, Ab Media? Y'all see the thumbnail? Y'all see the thumbnail? Y'all see the thumbnail? Y'all see that thumbnail, brothers? Y'all see the thumbnail? That is none other than the former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Keisha Lance Bottoms. Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Oh, Keisha. Keisha Lance Bottoms. Keisha Lance Bottoms. What's going on? Dave the man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let me be clear. Let me be absolutely clear so that no one misunderstands the nature of the stream. We are not talking about Keisha Lance Bottoms per se. We are not talking about Keisha Lance Bottoms per se. What's going on, hero in the apocalypse? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, David? Too. What's going on? That's right. BMI, Black Men's Independence. That is right. That is right. That is right. BMI, Black Men's Independence. We have to keep our focus on Black men's independence. Black men's independence. I think some of us have forgotten what the Black Manosphere is all about. I really do. And in my last stream, in my last couple of streams, the streams I did last week, I just tried to touch upon it. I think we don't forgot, brothers. We have completely forgotten what the Black Manosphere is all about. What's going on, Vegas Dev? That's right. Some of our so-called advocates keep inviting Keisha into the space. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. Keep doing it. They keep doing it. And the question is, the question, my brothers, why is Keisha in our space? Yeah, we got to break this down, brothers. Why is Keisha? Why is Keisha in our space, man? Awakened heterosexual, man. What's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. We're gonna talk about this, man. We're gonna talk about this, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time because you know what? I think I'm gonna make some room. I'm gonna do my best to make some room to bring some of you brothers up to the chat, man. I'm gonna do my best to bring some of you brothers up, man. Man, we have to talk about this. Why? Why is she here? Why is she here, guys? What's going on, Taylor Job, man? Peace to you, my brother. That's right. The Mad Professor is back in the house. The Mad Professor is back in the house. Peace and blessings to you, KOS. Keep peace and blessings to you, my brother. We glad that you're here. Keep it 100 is in the house. Keep it 100 is in the house. Keep it 100 is in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Man, we got to talk about this, man, and keep it 100. Please stick around, man. You know, if you got to be in and out, my brother, I understand. But you know what? I got to get these preliminaries out the way and do this, and hopefully, I'm going to work real hard to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link, man, because I think that this is a big conversation that we need to have, and you are one of the people to really contribute and help us to frame this thing, because we need some clarity about who we are. We need deeper understanding about our purpose and our mission and why we are here. And brothers, men's daily advice and encouragement. It's good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. 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 Afro National, man. Salute to you, my brother. Afro National, salute to you. Salute to you. Salute to you. We talking about Keisha. Keisha done turned, guys. Keisha has turned. Keisha has turned on Obsidian. Keisha is on the warpath. Keisha has not just turned on Obsidian. Keisha is on a warpath right now in relationship to Obsidian. Not only has Keisha turned on Obsidian, Keisha has turned on Anton Daniels. Now, Anton Daniels has never made claims to the Black Manosphere. He has never made any serious claims to the Black Manosphere, but Anton Daniels is very, very much related to this conversation, because people like him help us to understand and to dig into the many problems, the many problems that are involved when Keisha is in our space, when Keisha is interrupting Black men's empowerment, when she's disrupting Black men's independence, when she is undermining Black men's agency and Black men's happiness, when Keisha has no respect whatsoever for any of the acronyms, when Keisha has absolutely no respect for SYSBM. We have to talk about that. We got the Passport OG in the house. What's going on, Passport OG? Good to see you. Good to see you, Passport OG. If you guys are not subscribed, to Marcus, to keep it 100. If you are not subscribed to Keep It 100, y'all go subscribe to Keep It 100's channel. If you guys are not subscribed to Passport OG's channel, Passport OG is dropping that fire, dropping that substantive, high quality Passport Bro information, ideology, travel ideology, Passport Bro, everything. Passport OG is over in Japan doing his doggone thing. Passport OG would teach you how to speak Japanese, okay? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, man. We got to talk about it. Why is Keisha here, guys? Why is Keisha here, man? Why? Y'all tell me why. And we got to talk about Kevin Samuels, man. We got to talk about Kevin Samuels, man. We got to talk about Kevin Samuels. And we got to talk about, guys, we got to talk about who opened the door. We have to talk about who opened the doggone door. Who opened the door? Who opened the door? Who opened the door? Who empowered her? Who gave her a license? Who gave Keisha? Who? I've been a part of this Black Manosphere, and I entered first as a listener in 2015, as a hardcore listener when it was first codified in 2015, and then I jumped. I put my shingle out in 2020 during the election to do my thing and talk about politics. That was in 2020, and now it's 2023. I've been here. It's almost a decade. I've been here almost a decade. Almost a decade. And I came here. I was drawn to this place because this was a space that centered Black men's issues, specifically Black men in America. We got brothers from other mothers. We got brothers from the continent, from Africa. We got brothers from the Caribbean. We got brothers from South America and Central America. And they are welcome, and we welcome the brothers. We got brothers from the United Kingdom. Those guys in the United Kingdom, yes, like Sarah Garvey, brothers like King Riches, those guys like that. There are other brothers in the United Kingdom and all across Europe. They're in Eastern Europe, they're in Western Europe. All right, they're in places like Poland, like O'Shea. Okay, so this is a space that centers Black men. Okay, and we begin with the Afro-American experience. And let me just be clear. Let me be clear. I value particularity. Particularity. We begin African American, the North American experience right here. The vast majority of people who watch my YouTube channel is in my analytics. It's in my analytics. 97% of my viewers come from the United States. 90%, 97%. 98% of my viewers are men. 98% of my viewers are men. I've got about 1%, 1.5% of my viewers are female. Mostly men come over here, mostly men. All right, 100% men, 1% female. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Because you all know me, that on this channel I have dealt specifically with Black American men, specifically Black American men in particular, and we reach out to other men across the board in general. But the starting point, the focal point, is right here in the United States. What's going on, Martell Prayer? Appreciate your support. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Yes, man. I appreciate you, man. We are doing the Lord's work. We're going to continue to spread knowledge. We're going to continue to spread wisdom. We're going to continue to grow this thing. We're going to continue to move forward, my brother. I appreciate that generous support for you, from you, my brother. I thank you. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. But brothers, somebody opened the door. Somebody opened the door to Keisha. Somebody opened the door to Keisha. And we got to talk about that. And right now, in light of everything that's going on with White Girl Pearl, all this stuff with White Girl Pearl, we got to talk about Keisha. And we got to talk about Keisha's entitlement. We got to talk about her entitlement. We got to talk about Keisha's imperative to police Black men. We got to talk about peace. I'm glad BGS is here. I'm glad BGS is in the house. Keisha wants to BGS. Keisha wants to mommy us. Keisha wants to mommy us. She wants to mommy us. That mommy is coming out. I'm telling you, Keisha has been triggered. Keisha is showing all of us who she really is. Okay? Keisha is doing streams. Keisha is doing stream after stream after stream after stream, talking smack about the Black Manosphere. Keisha is doing stream after stream after stream, calling us coons, calling us Uncle Toms. Darn, they're calling us a white supremacist. Keisha, I'm gonna tell you, Keisha did a stream, one of your favorite Keishas did a stream. One of your favorite Keishas. I'm gonna put her name out there. Courtney Michelle. She is one of the favorite Keishas. She did a stream where she actually said that the Black Manosphere, men in the Black Manosphere hate women. Men in the Black Manosphere are misogynist. Men in the Black Manosphere are toxic. She said that she's finally come to the realization that we are nothing but a bunch of misogynists and that we hate Black women. This is Courtney Michelle, Keisha. This is Keisha. This is Keisha. Thank you, Chemistry Earmark. Thank you for that support. Keisha, 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 Keisha. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell y'all, see, we've talked about the liberals. We've talked about the liberal black female. We've talked about her. We've talked about the liberal black female, the Stacey Abrams. We've talked about people like Keisha, actual Keisha Lance Bottoms. And you remember how Stacey Abrams and Keisha Lance Bottoms dealt with black men during the 2022 midterms. You remember that? Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember how they tried to mommy us? Do you remember how they tried to strong arm us? Do you remember how they articulated their sense of entitlement about black men, saying that black men had to vote for Stacey Abrams, and that somehow or another black men who do not vote for Stacey Abrams play for an evil team? We play for the evil empire. We belong. We are the children of Darth Vader. Do you remember that? That was Stacey Abrams, and that was Keisha Lance Bottoms. Matter of fact, both Stacey Abrams and Keisha Lance Bottoms attacked our space. They attacked our space. They called our black manosphere, as we were doing politics, as we were being critical of the 2022 midterms. They called our black manosphere vessels of misinformation. That's what they said, that we are vessels of misinformation. And Keisha Lance Bottoms, she came out. This is a married black woman. A married black woman. She's married to a black man in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a native of Atlanta, Georgia. She has two black sons. And she expressed anxiety and she expressed fear about us influencing her sons. And Keisha is a part of that establishment that really wants to shut the black manosphere down. They want to censor us. They want to keep our mouths closed. That real Keisha Lance Bottoms, that real Keisha that you see in the form of a Stacey Abrams. But these Keishas out here on this internet, these Keishas who have been in our space, you have to see these Keishas in the same vein that you see a Stacey Abrams. You have to see those Keishas in the same vein that you see a Keisha Lance Bottoms. You have to see those Keishas in the same vein that you look at a Kamala Harris. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support, Passport OG. We appreciate you. Thank you for the support, Passport OG. Thank you for the support. We appreciate you. We are talking to him. Why is Keisha here? Why is Keisha here? Why is Keisha here? Brothers, I am of the conviction. I am of the conviction that this moment that we're dealing with right now is a moment where we have to completely restructure, and we have to realign, and we have to reimagine this thing that we call the black manosphere. We have to reimagine the black manosphere, and we must make it clear. We must make it clear to those who are part of the black manosphere and those who are outside of the black manosphere exactly what the black manosphere is. Because it is clear to me that the Keishas that have gone after Anton Daniels, the Keishas who have gone after Obsidian Mumia Ali, those Keishas and other Keishas, those Keishas don't understand what the black manosphere is. They really don't know. They really don't know. They really don't know, brothers. Dr. Thunder is in the house. That is Dr. Thunder. Dr. Thunder, good to see you. Good to see you, Dr. Thunder. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me tell you something. I got up early this morning. I got up early this morning. And I pick up my tablet. Every time when I wake up in the morning, I pick up my tablet. I picked up my tablet. And guess who was streaming live? Guess who was streaming live as I picked up my tablet? He was in the middle of a live stream. none other than the king of controversy himself, Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor was streaming live early in the morning. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and Tommy Sotomayor was streaming live, and Tommy Sotomayor was talking about this. He wasn't talking about what we're going to talk about. We're talking about right now, but he was talking about this problem right here. And Tommy Sotomayor was having a conversation with a Keisha. He was having a conversation with a Keisha, okay? And this Keisha, who he was talking to, was trying to convince him that she was in the right, that she had the authority, and that she had the wherewithal to tell Black men how to run Black men-centered spaces. And the reason why she believed, here's the thing, guys, the reason why this Keisha, who Tommy was talking to, again, this is 5 o'clock in the morning, this woman believed, and y'all can go back and look at Tommy's stream. It should still be up. He did it this morning. The reason why this Keisha believed that she was empowered and entitled to correct Black men is because this Keisha sees herself as an ally of Black men. She sees herself as an ally of Black men. Let me tell you, do you know what this Keisha said? Do you know what this Keisha said as she was talking to Tommy Sotomayor? She said, I'm out here fighting for y'all. I'm out here defending y'all. I'm out here supporting y'all. I'm out here supporting y'all. And this is the thanks that we get. This is the thanks that we get. This is the thanks that we get. This is what this Keisha was saying to Tommy Sotomayor on his live stream. And Tommy looked at her, and Tommy Sotomayor was like, and so what? You want a trophy? So what? So what? So what? And also, your little support doesn't do anything. Your little support is marginal. Your little support is not a sacrifice. Your little support on YouTube, it doesn't put a dent into anything. We didn't ask you to come here. Now, Tommy didn't go that far, but he started to break it down. He started to break this Keisha down. He started to break her entitlement down. Y'all go back and y'all look at that stream. Keisha thinks that because she got a YouTube channel, because she was inspired by Kevin Samuels, because she want a man, she want a husband, let's say it, Keisha want a husband. Keisha got this mythical idea of a Black community in her mind that she wants to preserve and maintain and everything like that. Keisha is out here talking about all those things, and she sees this as allyship. She sees this as support. And she actually thinks that she is helping us. She actually thinks that we're actually benefiting from us, that we are benefiting from her. She actually believes that. This is what Keisha believes. Just because she didn't watch the few Kevin Samuels videos. And what was clear in this conversation with Keisha, what was clear? Because Tommy, you know what Tommy started talking about? Tommy said this. He said, if you Black women really are concerned about Black men, that's what he said. If you are really concerned about Black men, you all will go out and do something about this family court. If you were really concerned about Black men, you would go out here and change or reform the child support system. If you were really concerned about Black men, you would go out here and do something about paternity fraud. If you were really concerned about Black men, you would do something about intimate partner violence in the way in which we think about intimate partner violence in America, in policing in America. If you were really concerned about supporting black men, you would do more than just talk on YouTube. You would do more than that. Then you would do more than just give us moral support or to give us verbal support. No, 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 no. No, you would do more. You would do more than just get you a bullhorn and get you a placard that says Black Lives Matter every time a black male, an adult black man, a black male youth, or a black boy gets shot down in the streets by a white man or a police officer. You would do more than just get you a t-shirt that says Black Lives Matter if you were really invested and concerned about black men. You have greater proximity to white power than black men. You register more to white people than black men. You were in positions of leadership and authority and influence at rates and levels that black men simply cannot compete with. Thank you, no one. Thank you, no one. If you truly supported black men, it would be more than you just repeating Kevin Samuels' talking points. Or repeating, and you know how Tommy is. Tommy is basically, repeating my talking points, which Tommy always says Kevin got from him. Why is Keisha here? Why does Keisha believe that we need her? Why? Why? And why is it that we got so many brothers who are related to our space, who are in our space, who claim Black Manosphere, or brothers who are on the edge of being affiliated with the Black Manosphere? Why is it that we got so many brothers who are enamored with Keisha and Keisha's voice and what Keisha got to say? Why is it? Why is it? We really got to deal with that. Why is it that Keisha just can't do her own thing? She just can't have her own platform and do what she does without feeling entitled to setting policy in the Black Manosphere? Why is it? And why is it that we continue to feed into Keisha, That's what I want to know. We feed her. A lot of brothers support Keisha financially, super chats, cash apps, PayPals. Support Keisha. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. And I'm not going to tell you who to listen to and who not to listen to. But I want you to really think about this Keisha who right now believes that she got some real estate. Keisha believes that she got stock, that she's a stock owner, that she owns Manosphere, Black Manosphere stock. Keisha believes that she is a shareholder in the Black Manosphere. Keisha believes that she's on the board of directors. She believes she's on the board of directors. Who gave Keisha that power? Who gave Keisha? Thank you, Arthur Dean, for that cash app. Thank you, Arthur Dean, for that cash app. Who? Thank you, Mike Johnson, for that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Mike Johnson. Thank you for that. Who gave Keisha? Who gave Keisha the license to do that? Who? We got to reevaluate this whole Black Manosphere. And like I told you guys, I'm going to make some space. I'm going to make some space to bring some of our content creators up so that we can work this out. Those who want to come up Don't feel like you have to. I don't want you to feel like you have to come up. All you guys who are listening or whatever, I don't want you to feel pressured or whatever. If you don't want to come up, you know, I'll wrap it up early or what have you. But I got to deal with this. I got to deal with this. Let me. I want you to consider something, brothers. I want y'all to consider something. I want y'all to consider something. You see this book right here? You see this book right here? This book right here was written by the late black feminist. Her name, the late black feminist, her name was Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde. She's one of the pillars of second wave feminism. Audre Lorde, black woman. Some people say that she's the founder of intersectionality. They call her the founder of intersectionality. The founder. She was a lesbian. This woman was a lesbian. She was a black lesbian. A black lesbian. And she was a black lesbian and had children. She had children. She had a son and a daughter. Okay, from a you know, a heterosexual relationship. She had children, and she was also a swirler. She was a swirler. She had a white woman who, you know, they call their partners. She had a white woman partner. Audre Lorde had a son. She had a black son. She had a black son. And Audre Lorde, in this book called the Sister Outsider, she got a chapter. She got a chapter in this book. It's called Man Child. You see this? It's a chapter. It's called Man Child. It's called Man Child. That's what it's called. It's called Man Child. A black lesbian feminist response. Man Child. Man Child. And I'm talking about her is because in this chapter in this book, she talks about radical feminism. And she talks about the demands that radical feminism placed on feminists, all sorts. They got different types of feminists, but you have the radical feminists. They're the most extreme feminists. They're the most extreme feminists. Most of them, the vast majority of them were and are lesbians. A lot of them hate men. They hate men with a passion. A lot of them hate men, hate them. And she's writing at a time when you had these other black lesbians. Barbara Smith was a black lesbian. You know, still is. She's still alive. Those people who created the Cohambie River Collective, lesbians. Cheryl Clark, a lesbian. Later on, Angela Davis, she's a lesbian. Much of feminism is lesbianism. That's what feminism is. The bulk of feminism is lesbianism. Lesbianism has shaped feminism. And the reason why I am giving you this reference is because the radical lesbian feminists that she was affiliated with, they had a policy. They had a policy in their movement. They had a policy that whenever they would have meetings, that only women were allowed, only women were permitted to come to their meetings. Women. And this caused a serious problem. This caused a serious problem for Audre Lorde because she had to go to those meetings and she did not want to leave her children behind as she traveled to those meetings, and she wanted to bring her children with her. But the radical lesbians told them that you better not bring any male children to our meetings. You better not bring any male children to our meetings. Don't bring them. Don't bring the boys. And I'm just going to read just a little bit of this. I'm going to read just a little bit of this. And she talks about it here. Her partner's name was Frances, is a white woman. And I'm going to read what she says. She says, Frances and I were considering attending a lesbian feminist conference this summer when we were notified, it says here, we were notified that no boys over 10 were allowed. No boys. You ain't going to bring no boys. No boys over 10 were allowed. This presented logistic as well as philosophical problems for us, and we sent the following letter. Sisters, 10 years as an interracial lesbian couple has taught us both the dangers of an oversimplified approach to the nature and solutions of any oppression, as well as the danger inherent in an incomplete vision. Our 13-year-old son represents as much hope for our future as does our 15-year-old daughter. And we are not willing to abandon him to the killing streets of New York City while we journey west to help form a lesbian feminist vision of the future world in which we can all survive and flourish. I hope we can continue this dialogue in the near future, as I feel it is important to our vision and our survival. Now, in that whole chapter, she talks about raising a boy. This is a lesbian talking about masculinity. I'm not going to go all into the details of it. And basically, she wants to raise him as a feminist boy. We talk about the BGS, where you are. BGS, you talking about the feminization of boys? The feminization of boys, BGS? She talks about the model of masculinity that she wants her son to have in this particular chapter called Man-Child. It's called Man-Child, and how she's raising this boy to be a feminist boy or a feminist man. And even as she does this, she also acknowledges that her son could also come under different influences outside of the feminist perspective. Now, why am I talking like this? Because the lesbian feminists, the radical feminists, did they bend? Did they make modifications for people like Audre Lorde? Did they bend and adjust and all that kind of stuff? The answer is no, they did not. They did not. The radical feminists, particularly the lesbians, they were clear that they didn't want men a part of what they were doing. Made it clear. And for decades and decades and decades, that's how they have operated, even to this present day. And in fact, my brothers, they are going through it right now. The radical feminists are going through it right now with the transgenders, the trans people. You got radical feminist lesbians who do not like the transgender program. They don't want it. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that you have so-called trans women, people who were born as men who now identify as women. They don't like the fact that they have taken over the whole category of womanhood, and that they have basically taken over the LGBTQ movement, okay? The transgenders have taken over their movement, and the lesbians right now are mad. A lot of them, they are mad. And they are mad because they believe that those transgenders have tainted their movement. Now, I am not, brothers. Thank you, Awaken Heterosexual. Thank you, heterosexual. I'm not. This is not about transgenderism. This is not about transgenderism. This ain't about radical lesbian feminism. I'm just giving you an example of what women did, what women have done in relationship to men, and what they continue to do in relationship to men. Okay, and that's how much of this feminism operates. And they're very clear about how they deal with men, heterosexual men in particular. Very clear about that. They even have, and many of them, they even have problems with some of the gay men. The reason why I brought that example up, brothers, Because it's clear. It's clear that in movements, you got to have some boundaries. In movements, you got to have some lines of demarcation. You got to have some clear lines of demarcation whenever you have a movement, whenever you have something going on. And what I want to say to you is that this black manosphere that we have right here, we got to have some boundaries. We got to have some lines of demarcation. Because if you don't have any boundaries, if you don't have any lines of demarcation, what's going to happen is you're going to have outsiders come in. You're going to have outsiders come in. You're going to have Keisha to come in. If you open that door very wide and you allow Keisha in, Keisha is going to bring her stuff. And I don't care how empathetic that Keisha presents herself to be. I don't care how empathetic she presents herself to be. Keisha is still Keisha. She's still a woman. She still has not lived in the world as a man. Thank you, Awakened Heterosexual, for that. Keisha has not lived. Keisha has not lived her life as a man. She don't know what it's like to be a black man. She don't know. She hasn't gone through the ringer. She doesn't really understand why we're talking about passport bros. Keisha don't understand that. She don't understand why we're talking about passport bros. That's why Courtney Michelle, I'm going to call her name out. That's why Courtney Michelle had a very difficult time with passport bros. That woman from Atlanta, she's from Atlanta. She had a hard time with passport bros. She had a hard time with SYSBM. And you have people going back and forth with her like Obsidian. Obsidian, he's another one, Kevin Samuels. They opened the door. Kevin Samuels opened the door. Obsidian kept the door open. Obsidian talked to those women. Now those women have turned on him. The women who we've been talking to, now they turned on him. Okay? They turned. But this particular person, she had a hard time. She could not embrace SYSBM. She couldn't. She said that she loved black men and she loved the black community, the community, and all that kind of stuff. And that we need to get together. We need to get together. And she was always coming over to these black manosphere related spaces and doing these live streams and all that kind of stuff. But she had a hard time, got a hard time with passport bros. Women who have a hard time with passport bros, women who have a hard time, the Keishas have a hard time with SYSBM, them the ones that you really got to look at. You got to look at them. You got a hard time with passport bros. You got a hard time with SYSBM. You got to look at them. And you got to understand, this is a space we affirm passport bros. We affirm SYSBM. We affirm IBMOR. Remember, we had IBMOR here. Introspective Black Men of Reform. Introspective Black Men of Reform. That's IBMOR. Okay? This is the mystical, this is the monastic, this is the minimalist, this is the monk philosophy, that component of the Black Manosphere. IBMOR, BGS, IBMOR. But why is Keisha here? Has she been empowered? Keisha has been empowered. And Keisha is triggered. She's been empowered and she's been triggered. And you know, the problem with Keisha, here's the problem with Keisha, is that Keisha has not done the work. The big problem with Keisha is that Keisha has not done the work. Keisha has not engaged Dr. T.S. Johnson. Keisha has not engaged the Green Gorilla. Keisha has not engaged my platform. She has not engaged Dr. Thunder. She has not engaged BGS IBMOR. Keisha hasn't done the work. Keisha hasn't even read, she hasn't even done basic stuff. Keisha hasn't even read the Moynihan report. Let me say it again. Keisha hasn't even read the Moynihan report. She hasn't read it. She hasn't read it, and Keisha does not have the curiosity that would cause her to dig up the Moynihan Report and to read it. Keisha has not read E. Franklin Frazier. She has not read E. Franklin Frazier. She has not read The Negro Family in the United States. She has not read The Black Bourgeoisie. She has not read The Crisis. She's not read The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. The one that E. Franklin Frazier first wrote, not De Cruz, it was Harold Cruz, but E. Franklin Frazier wrote a book about the crisis of Negro intellectuals in the 1950s. E. Franklin Frazier did one that people don't talk about. There's a book that he wrote in the 50s that deals with the crisis of Negro intellectuals or the problem of the Negro intellectual. And then Harold Cruz in 1967, he dropped the crisis of the Negro intellectual. Keisha has not read sufficiently the history of slavery. Keisha has not dealt significantly with the problems of the welfare state. She has not wrestled with it intellectually, academically. She has not read Michelle Alexander. She has not read Orlando Patterson, the sociologist. She has not read Robert Staples. She has not read Ishmael Reed. She has not read William Julius Wilson. Keisha has not done any work. Keisha says that she's an ally. Keisha says that she's a supporter, but Keisha has not done the work. The most that Keisha has done is watch videos of Shahrazad Ali. That's the most that she's done, is to watch YouTube videos of Shahrazad Ali. But I can guarantee you that Keisha has not read The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. I can guarantee you that she has not read the book. She hasn't read it. Keisha's stock of knowledge, Keisha's of understanding comes primarily from social media. And it comes from anecdotal experiences. It comes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Her understanding of Black male-female dynamics is derived exclusively from popular culture. It is not from labor. She says she wants to support us. She doesn't even take you seriously enough to dig and to do the work, to look at the history. You see this book right here? This is Diane Stewart. This book came out in 2020. This book, I'm writing about this book right now. I told you guys that I'm almost finished with my book. I'm doing the references right now to my book. I've got a summer deadline. I'm finishing the references to my book right now. This book is called Black Love. It's called Black Women and Black Love, America's War on African-American Marriage. Diane Stewart, she's at Emory. She's at Emory University, PhD, associate professor. This is a book, and she's a Black woman. She writes from a woman-oriented perspective, but it's a book that deals with history. She engages history, she engages policy, she engages the welfare state. She talks about family courts. She talks about criminal justice. She talks about capitalism. She talks about structural and historical factors that explain, here's the thing, structural and historical factors, because this is a book, she wrote this book because she's trying to deal with the high numbers of Black women who are chronically single. And this is the first book ever written by a Black woman in decades. I can't think of any other Black woman who has written a book like this, who's taken the time to do some serious, rigorous thinking that deals with a lot of stuff that we cover in this space. But this is from a Black female perspective. Keisha has not done that kind of work. She hasn't done that kind of work. She hasn't done it. Green Gorillas in the house. What's going on, Gigi? What's going on, Gigi? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, my brother. And brothers, we got to deal with it. We got to talk. I mean, it's so many dynamics. We understand. I understand. We are men. We are men, brothers. We are men. Cornelius Bellamy, thank you for that. Thank you for that support, Cornelius Bellamy. Thank you for that, my brother. We are men. I get it. I'm not here to shame any brothers. I'm not here to shame nobody. I'm not here to shame anybody. Thank you, Michael Green. Thank you, Michael Green, for that cash app. Thank you, Michael Green. Thank you for your support, my brother. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you, Cornelius Bellamy. I'm not here to shame you. There's no shame, brothers. No shame whatsoever. We are heterosexual men. We like women. We're attracted to women. And I understand. Here's the thing. I understand. And I said this about Kevin, and it's clear. Everybody knows that about Kevin. Kevin decided to get some distance between the space because Kevin wanted to make money. Kevin wanted to be mainstream. And Kevin could not be mainstream by having content that's exclusively Black male focused. You can't get rich. I told y'all that last week. I told y'all that nobody can get rich on this Black male content, this exclusive Black male content, this exclusive heterosexual Black male content. Y'all see Dr. Johnson. Y'all see Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson is the hardest working man I know that got a PhD here on YouTube, giving the world all sorts of information about what's going on with Black men. And Dr. Johnson is not even at 50,000 subscribers. And I told y'all he should have a higher number of subscribers. He should have more notoriety. But he doesn't. And the reason why he doesn't is because exclusively or focusing exclusively on Black men's issues is a problem for people who are not Black and male. No guarantees. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. No guarantees for that support. Thank you for that. We appreciate you, my brother. We smoking on Keisha second. Good talk tonight. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you. Salute to you. Salute to you. It's Keisha. Why are we listening to Keisha? Because Keisha got some big breasts. Keisha is mad at Anton Daniels. Anton Daniels flew Keisha out to Detroit. Anton Daniels put Keisha in a suite. Anton Daniels introduced Keisha to his wife. Anton Daniels had Keisha on his platform. And because Anton Daniels, as a businessman, as a capitalist, was not against White Girl Pearl. He was not against White Girl Pearl. Because he was not against White Girl Pearl, Keisha decided to sever ties with Anton Daniels. He put her up. This man laid out the red carpet for this person, treated her generously. I saw the back and forth they did in the video. And they had a public interaction in the aftermath of this thing with White Girl Pearl, where it was clear that Keisha Keisha is just Keisha. Thank you, Ray Knowles. Thank you, Ray Knowles, for that, my brother. Well, thank you, Ray Knowles. Thank you, Ray Knowles. Thank you, Ray Knowles. But I think we have to read. When you want facts, you come to the PhDs. Absolutely. It's time for us to reimagine. It's time for us, brothers. Thanks for that, Ray Knowles. Thank you for that support. It is time for us to restructure and reimagine this thing called the Black Manosphere. I think that we need us a new Black Manosphere. We need us a new Black Manosphere, guys. In light of what is going on right now, we need something that's brand new, brand new. Y'all share, y'all like and subscribe. Share, like and subscribe. Y'all see the Cash App, $ 3000, Cash App $3000, Cash App $ 3000. Thank you, 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 Rush Beji. Thank you, Rush Beji, for that. We appreciate your support, my brother. Thank you for that. I appreciate your support, my brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Why is Keisha here? Why is Keisha in our space? Huh? Why are we allowing Keisha to dictate what we do, what we say? Why? And I'm gonna say this, man. We got some Keishas out here. We got some Keishas out here who have pretended for some years. There's some Keishas out here who pretended for some years that they are down with this thing called the Black Manosphere. But you gotta listen to them closely. When you listen to them closely, you have to question their commitment to Black men's empowerment. You got to question them. You got to question them. I'm gonna put it out there. Some of y'all listen to Daniel George. Y'all listen to the breakdown. You all listen to Concrete Rose. Y'all listen to Daniel George. Y'all listen to Concrete Rose. I want to ask y'all, what makes them Black Manosphere? Why y'all listen to them? What makes them Black Manosphere? Y'all been going over there for the longest. I don't understand that. I don't know what's pro black male about Concrete Rose. I don't know what's pro black male about Sister George. I don't know what's pro black male about these women other than the fact that they have husbands. And one of them has a son. I don't know what's so pro black male about them. Y'all been going over there for a long time. Y'all been going back and forth with them over there. I don't know. How was that? And they have situated them. They've tried to situate themselves as a manosphere, Black Manosphere channel, or some type of Manosphere ally, Black Manosphere ally, or something. I don't know what it is. But they're not over there with them feminists. They're not over there with them womanists. I don't know why they're not over there with them womanists and them feminists. Because they're constantly reacting to Black men. And a lot of times their reactions to Black men, or the majority of the times, are not positive reactions, very negative reactions. And I'm trying to figure out why some of our brothers in the Black Manosphere can't stay from over there. I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's time for us to clean house. I really do. I think it's time for us to clean house. I think it's time for us to reimagine what we do. I think it's time to take SYSBM seriously. You see, a Black man can affiliate whoever. You want to tell us who we can affiliate with, who we shouldn't affiliate with? You want to tell a Black man what type of woman he should deal with, what type of woman he should not deal with? That's Keisha. Keisha want to give you a whole code of morality. Yet Keisha is very weak. Keisha is very weak when it comes down to challenging her own sisters. She's very, very weak. And she thinks that just because she came on the scene after Kevin Samuels, that somehow or another that suffices, that corrects all of the damage that has been done by her sisters under the guise of feminism and womanism over the last 60 years. You think that you've been out here for 2 years talking things that seemingly are supportive of black men. You think that doing that is enough to correct decades and decades and decades of what Oprah Winfrey did, and Terry McMillan and Alice Walker and Michelle Wallace and their newer acolytes, the Brittany Coopers of the world, the Amanda Seals of the world, the Tiffany Crosses of the world, the Simone Sanders of the world. You think that what you're doing right now is enough to correct that. And we were doing this stuff without women. Now, I'm not gonna, I said that I was going to, thank you, Jacob. Thank you, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Thank you for support. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. I thank you, all you guys here. Thank you for all the support. Now, I said that tonight, thank you for that. I said tonight that I want to make some room because I want to talk to some of my brothers. Rush Beji, thanks again. Thanks again for that, my brother. Thanks again for that support. Thanks again for that support, my brother. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thanks again, my brother. I said, we still going. We still going. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, Spinksman MVA. This is a Mad Professor broadcast, a Mad Professor broadcast. Why is Keisha in our space? Y'all tell me why. Why is Keisha in our space? Why is Keisha here? Why is she here? Why is she here? Keisha. I'm going to tell you guys, I was tempted. Y'all see the thumbnail? I was tempted to use as a thumbnail. There's a portrait, there's a picture. There is a picture of Keisha Lance Bottoms with Joe Biden. There is a picture on the internet, it's all over the place, with Keisha Lance Bottoms with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is like kissing her on the forehead. He's like kissing her. You know, Joe Biden, he liked to kiss women on the forehead. That's Joe Biden. He liked to kiss women on the forehead. There's a picture of him. I remember I was in the Atlanta airport, the Atlanta International Airport, and I saw it in the airport. It was just a big, on the wall, big poster. And I was tempted to use that as the thumbnail. I was tempted to use that as the thumbnail. And the reason why I was tempted to use it as a thumbnail is because Keisha wanted to shame you. Keisha wanted to shame us. Keisha wants to tell us somehow or another that we are coons, that we're Uncle Toms. Keisha wants to hold us to a standard of racial purity, a standard of racial purity that Keisha herself does not live up to. Keisha wants to hold you up. She wants to apply a litmus test of morality that she herself does not give herself over to. She wants you to be this pro-black messiah, and she herself is not a pro-black messiah. All you gotta do is look at this family. All you gotta do is look at the dominant black family structure in America. Look at the dominant black family structure in America. You look at the condition of black fathers. You look at the alienated condition of black fathers, the disenfranchised condition of black fathers, the disempowered condition of black fathers, and you ask yourself the question, how is it that Keisha can hold you up, can put before you this utopian standard of morality that she herself refuses to live up to and to live out? Thank you, Beretta. Thank you, Beretta. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We see what's going on. We see what's going on. You see what happens. You see what happens. Thank you, Beretta 9. Why are they over here? Look at what's happening now. Absolutely. Look at what's happening. And brothers, what you got to recognize, there are very few places in this country, there are very few places where men have their own space. There are very few places. You can't go to the barbershop anymore. The barbershop used to be a male space, the barbershop. The barbershop is no longer a male space. The barbershop. I don't go to the barbershop. I cut my own hair. I cut my own hair. When I was a little boy, my mother took me to the barbershop. That was a very different time. That was a time where masculinity was still, black masculinity was still a very important thing. This was decades and decades ago. I haven't been to a barber in maybe what, 2 to 3 years. And the last times I went to a barber, no, I'm sorry. I went to a barber shop. I was in Dakar. I was in Senegal. Let me take that back. I got my hair cut in Africa. I got my hair cut in Africa. Okay. And in Africa, when I was in Africa and I got my hair cut, I was in black male spaces. Okay. But the last time that I got my hair cut by a black American barber, okay, I walked into a place that was compromised by gynocentrism. It's not to say that women shouldn't bring their sons there, but there's something that's happened that's different. You don't have a free space. Thank you, Ernest Smith. Thank you for that. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support, Ernest Smith. We have to be very, very careful. You're absolutely right. We got to be very, very careful about who we allow in our space. We got to be very, very, very careful because there's too much at stake. There's too much at stake. They divert too much. They would disrupt stuff. They disrupt stuff. They disrupt it. Thank you, the Revelator. Thank you, the Revelator. Thank you, the Revelator. Thank you for that Cash App. $ Cash App, BMI 3000. $ Cash App, BMI 3000. $ Cash App, BMI 3000. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't have any male spaces. I just told one of my friends I had signed up. I had a gym membership at Planet Fitness. I decided I normally work outdoors. I hadn't had a gym membership in years, and I wanted to add more variety to my workout. I normally do I'm a calisthenics guy. I'm a calisthenics guy. Okay, all right. I do push-ups. I do squats. I do calisthenics squats. I do push-ups, and I run. All right, that's my basic kind of workout. But I wanted to go. I decided I hadn't been in the gym. I hadn't had a gym membership in years. I signed up to Planet Fitness. I go to Planet Fitness, and it was cool, and it was, for a little while. But then I noticed something in Planet Fitness. I noticed something in Planet Fitness which was problematic. And guess what that was? Guess what that was in the gym? Gynocentrism, gynocentrism, gynocentrism. That is, when you're in the gym, when you're in the gym, you got to be conscious about how you're moving about and interacting in the gym. You got to constantly, it's like you at work or something like that. Because you have these fragile, highly sensitive females who be in the gym, you understand, who got their Me Too trigger. They got the Me Too trigger. They got the Me Too, they got that Me Too trigger. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction. So guess what I did? I discontinued my gym membership at Planet Fitness because I said, you know what? I don't want this. Because I'm old enough to remember a time. I'm old enough to remember a time where you can go to a gym where you didn't have gynocentrism. I'm old enough to remember a time when there were male gyms. Gyms that catered exclusively, There was a time when you had gyms that catered exclusively to men. You might have a sprinkling of women here and there, whatever, but the gym culture, the gym atmosphere, it was masculine. It was masculine. It's hard to find that. Thank you, DJ B-Side. Thank you, DJ B-Side. Once again, yes, we bringing the facts. We're going forward. Yes, yeah. Look for the book. Look for the book. I'm wrapping up right now. I'm putting the finishing touches on it right now, doing the citations. We got to do it. We got to do it. Now, I said I wasn't gonna talk too long. I hope my brothers here. This is for my brothers who are content creators. Primarily, my brothers who are content creators who are still listening. If Keep It 100 is still around, if the Green Gorilla wants to come up, he can come up too. You might want to talk on it, but I'm putting it. I got the StreamYard link. It's in the chat. I just sent the StreamYard in the chat. Thank you, Mr. Lavo. We have to move on. We have to move on, Mr. Lavo. We are speaking on it. We got to move on. We got to move on. I got the coach clinician in the house. What's going on, coach clinician? We asking the question, why is Keisha here? Why is Keisha here? Why is Keisha in our space? Why are we talking to Keisha? Why? Why does Keisha believe that she got a word, she got a say in what we do and where we're going? Keisha out here saying that black men are not on code. That's what Keisha is saying. Keisha is saying that black men are not on code. That's what Keisha is saying. And that we got to get black men on code. And Keisha is in a moral panic. Keisha is in a moral panic. Keisha is in a crisis right now. This is the white girl pearl crisis. Keisha. Because she says that we are not on code. And this goes to show that Keisha doesn't understand. She doesn't understand the space. She doesn't understand the space. Oh, here we go. She doesn't understand the space. Oh, here we go. What's going on? What's going on, brothers?
What's happening? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man, loud and clear.
Oh, okay.
Yo.
Keisha here for that paper, man. Keisha here to start a YouTube career. That's what Keisha here for.
Talk to us, man.
It is what it is.
Keisha, she here for the bag.
Keisha here for the bag, man. But I mean, you know, a lot of guys here for the bag as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, no disrespect.
Yeah.
You know, go get it how you live, but don't act like you know you're the band, go out of the movement. You're here to cash in and you know, cash in and get a check. It just is what it is. You know what I mean?
It is what it is. Keep 100. What you got, man? Holler at us, man.
What's going on? You hear me good?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you, man. What's happening?
Wait, hold on. Before I start, what's going on, BGS? Go ahead. What's going on, man?
We got BGS in the house. We've got BGS in the house. We got Green Gorilla. We got Keep 100.
Yeah. Marcus ain't shit, but I love him. You know what, Doc? Just before you went on, man, I dropped a video called saying they don't get a vote. Okay, the Black Manosphere. So you know, a lot of brothers want these women in here to listen to them. They go over to the channels because that Winter Soldier chip is still activated in their brain, right? So as when Mama started whispering, you know, Mama's will open the book and say you're off code, and all of a sudden all these Winter Soldiers, man, get activated. And that's how come you have all this kerfuffle, right? You know, they've done this before, even before the white girl said what she said, right? They tried it 6 months ago, right? Because she's a white girl, okay? And then they try to activate the Winter Soldier chip. But I had to tell them, I said, I love you, but you don't get a vote in this space, baby. I don't care.
I did a video on that myself. It's still up. Still up. Did a video calling that out. I said, you're guests. You're guests here.
You're guessing here.
You don't get to move the furniture. You don't get to call no shots. You don't get to do none of that.
Nope.
You're guests. Straight up.
You know what they doing, man? They in here terraforming, nesting. You know what I'm saying?
Nesting. That's what they do. Yeah.
Nesting and terraforming, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, Gigi, you've been a basher. You bashers know.
My God.
After you hit it 2-3 times, they try to move clothes into the house, right? Try to
man.
make a nest in the house. You know how it is.
Hey, bro, look, I had some chick that told me, like, why don't you say this our house? Like, bitch, you ain't spent no money on this house, man. You know what I'm saying? You own like you on the deed or something, man. Like,
hey, Gigi, what she say? Where my key at, huh?
Well, I mean, it'd be different if she asked, "Can she get a key?" She like, why you don't say it's our house? Like, bitch, because it's my house. I own it. You don't own it.
You don't own it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, why don't you say this is our house? Like, I mean, just like, I wasn't even married to this chick. I mean, I was thinking about it, but I mean, the whole thing. Come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, you can't ask for more than what you put in, and what you ought to receive ought to be proportionate to the effort and the labor you put in. You know what I'm saying? But, it's like you got chicks nowadays, man. They feel like because they there, man, they got value just because they there. You know what I'm saying? Just
yeah. You're the winter soldier. We whispered in your ear. You're supposed to come ready to comply, right?
And like the only thing I can say is they also here because men willing to pay them to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is, I mean, like, look at their super chats and all. I'm not hating. I'm just keeping it a buck. Look at their super chats and look at their subscription numbers and shit like that. Niggas blow them up.
Black Manosphere, Marcus.
The Black Manosphere audience feeds them, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, and I don't want to. I know we can't. We can't stop the brothers from listening to them and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to stop them, but I think we need to, be clear about, why we're here. You know what I mean, and what we're doing. And I think that, I think it's been a part of our nature, Black men being liberal and egalitarian. We don't know how to create that line, that demarcation. We don't know how to act like, I'll put like this, like Orthodox or strict Muslims, and just put a line in the sand and say, okay, we over here and you're over there and what have you. It's just in our socialization to bring them into everything that we do,
Yeah.
And it's not reciprocal.
Boundaries for me, but not for thee.
There you go. But let me ask you guys something, because I know, BGS, you've had, in the past, you were the first one actually, when you had BGS for women and everything like that.
Right.
And then, fast forward now, we got all these other entities, and then Marcus, I'm going to put it out there, Marcus, you done been out there with Sister George and Concrete Rose and all that kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know, what is the value? What is the value for us in any kind of way, in your estimation, in engaging these women? So, like, what were you trying to do, BGS, for the brothers who don't know, about BGS women that you had back in the day? And then Marcus, you can speak to your context.
What I was trying to prove is that that most content creators that talk to women, especially online and on Facebook, if I can be blunt about it, think that you have to kiss their ass as you talk to them, right? And I wanted to prove that you could hold them accountable, you could be logical, you could be harsh, you could, all that stuff, and still talk to them and get them to actually not comply, but at least have a dialogue. That's what I wanted to prove. Kevin took that model. Kevin didn't backslide. Kevin didn't take their shit. He told them up front what the truth was. And the only thing on my BGS Women's channel, I'll accept anything that you say, but don't lie. As long as you're honest, you can have a voice. I wanted a separate voice for women to get whatever they wanted out, their side of the story out. My thing is, don't lie. And I hope, and Preston, Sister George, and Concrete Rose know I held them accountable, especially with this single mother shit, right? Or that out of wedlock shit. I held them accountable. Nope, you did it on purpose. Stop lying. Take accountability for what you did and why you did it. Don't lie. So we have an honest dialogue, which a lot of content creators, a lot of women's channels, a lot of women's coaches do not do. You don't hold them accountable, and you don't make them tell the truth. You're kissing their feet, kissing their hand, and making them feel good. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm a father. You know, I got daughters. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to make you better. If you want to feel good, go to somebody else. But on here, we're gonna get this, we solve this problem, get you straight. You're not gonna lie. We're gonna get right to the heart of this problem, and none of that bullshit. Because I don't accept that bullshit. That's what I wanted to prove.
Thank you, Black Man Swimming. Marcus, man, holler at us, man. Because I know, because I've seen you over there on the breakdown.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if anybody's seen me on a breakdown, whether it be in the chat or even on the panel, it's the same thing as BGS said. You know, it's me and Danny's history is like mostly debate, and it started on Facebook. Well, you know, we go back and forth, and you know, she take the sisterhood position, and I'll take the black man position, and you know, even my last time being on there, same thing, holding her to account. I got at least 2 separate videos on my channel responding to them. Like me them are cool, but at the same time, you know, I gotta call it out. She never takes it personal, but it gotta be said. Like again, you don't get to come over here, call no shots, and tell us who we can and can't follow or give credit to or this, that, and the third. You know, and you know, we've had conversations where I've held her accountable for things she said on her channel. You know, and you know, even with this Pearl thing, I told her, I said, well, look, you know, if you got an issue with Pearl, and you know, I like, y'all know where I stand on Pearl, but then I hit her up and I said, listen, you know, with the whole thing, the Me Too thing, we discussed that, but then, you know, even with her trying to use Pearl to, I guess, come at the manosphere that you're supposed to be a part of, right? What are you offering? In other words, how are you advocating? Like when she, you know, does her videos, it's a bit of, you know, I guess she's trying to play the middle between us and the sisterhood, but leading sisterhood. And but what are you offering in terms of real advocacy, other than just your channeling the sensationalism and whatever it is that, you know, is entertaining the crowd that you serve? Like, what are you offering? The things that we talk about is not the things that they talk about. You know, no respect to them, but you know, it's, you know, ooh, honey child, and black man ain't fit to lead unless they get this amount of money and this and that. And that's the usual stuff that we hear coming from the pro-black side. Right? So how are you manosphere, or you brought in the game by the manosphere, but then you flip. And there's a pattern of girls who do that. You know, at the first sign of some shit, they on the other team. From what I understand, you know, Cynthia G came in on some pro-black shit. Now she is what she is. So they come here and they get they start, they build themselves up to become the ops.
Thank you, Passport OG, for that contribution, man. Thank you. You know, and I asked the question, especially I'm going to, you know, with, you know, Concrete and Danny, and you know, people do what they want to do, but I've always asked the question. I said, what? I mean, and I said this earlier. I mean, what purpose do they serve? You know what I mean? Other than reacting to what's going on in the manosphere, or, and it seems that's what it is. It's always reaction to somebody, some beef, some war or whatever in the black manosphere or whatever, but it's nothing constructive. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, it's some housewife stuff. It just seems like it's, you know, gossip and everything like that. And I'm like, what you contributing to? You know what I mean? And, you know, especially with you know, Concrete. I mean, I hear a feminist in her. I'm like, she about something out, all I hear is feminism. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, why don't y'all? I mean, how come, you know, the way y'all oriented? Why don't just do the feminist thing or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Y'all can male bash under the guise of feminism. Why are you going to male bash under the guise of the Black Manosphere? It don't make any sense to me. You know?
She does. She's a gynocrat and doesn't know that she's a gynocrat because it's so normalized to her. And a lot of times I actually use them as a as an avatar, as an example, right? Because they really don't. They really think that they're on the black man's side, even with their gynocratic ways. And Concrete Rose is actually a mommy. Okay, she does a lot of mommying to black men. You can tell.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Heat. Thank you for that generous super chat, man. Thank you for that. We appreciate you. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't, you know, I'm reluctant to talk to some of these folks. Also, Expansion Wiring Technologies, LLC. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. The Revelator. Thank you for that. The Revelator. Let me tell you something. You know, I work with feminists, man, and I have had conversation after conversation with them, and I'm going to tell you, man, the most exhausting intellectually, emotionally things that I've ever done was try to argue with the feminist, okay, to go back and forth with feminists, okay. The last time I did that was back in 2020, and I met with some folks, and I'm not going to say in what capacity, but there was women, and it was doing the George Floyd stuff, and we were just going back and forth with Black Lives Matter. It was a 2-hour conversation, and I'm going to tell you, man, I was so exhausted and blown away by it that the only thing that saved me was the woman who I was dealing with at the time. Because after that meeting, you know, she met me at the house, and you know, she went straight to the bedroom. You know, and
Get all the frustration
I
out.
put it on her. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing that saved me. You understand? But that wasn't the first time that I had one of those conversations, and it got me thinking about Kevin Samuels. You know, and you know, we don't know this or whatever, but my theory is that he was exhausted. My theory is that going back and forth with black women the way he did with such intensity, you know, and fervor, I think that contributed to his condition. You know what I mean? And I think and the larger thing is, man, how many of us black men, y'all can identify with this? How many black men do we know who choose not to say anything, who choose to be censored, who choose to just live in silence or suffer in silence because they don't want no drama? They don't want the back and forth. They don't want the antagonism. You know, how many black men who have gone, I had this conversation with a coach's clinician. I'm sorry he's not here. You know, men who had all type of conditions. They were alcoholics. So, you know, some guys, you know, did drugs or whatever. They were smokers and all that kind of stuff, you know, and lived short lives. And I really believe, you know, that their interactions, because they didn't have any space to themselves, any real space or whatever, or the women didn't respect the spaces or respect their autonomy as they should have. I really, you know, I've always believed that contributed, you know, to their shortened lives. You know what I mean? So
it does, yeah.
So I'm thinking, I mean, with this situation right here, this just it's almost like for me a trigger. You know what I mean? It's like this is what happens. You understand when you apply it to something much bigger, like what we're trying to do in changing black men's minds and all that sort of stuff. You know, that sort of thing. That you know what you have are these situations where the women, you know, instigate it, you know, they bring chaos, you know, to the situation, because what's happening is now they have taken this situation and amplified it and made it more to what it is, you know, and going back and forth and what have you. And I'm going to tell you, I was listening to a content creator who was using the clip from your stream when you were talking about Pearly things being used as a tool. You know, you talked about her being used as a tool.
Yep.
There's a larger, there's a big picture.
Yep.
And this particular black female, and I like her some of her stuff. She couldn't wrap that around her head. She couldn't wrap the concept that there was a bigger picture, and that we use each other. It's utilitarianism.
Yeah.
You know, white people use us, we use them. We don't have to have the same ideology or what have you. There's no purity there. But just because she was a white woman, she couldn't wrap it around her head.
You know what? Because where do all black women center their logic through? Their wombs first, right? Who's in it? Who's using it? What value is it on it? Who's valuing all that kind of stuff? It always goes back to womb issues, and that's all this is. They can't think past the point is that, can this white woman, no matter what ilk she is, right, can she carry our message so we can actually get things done for black men and boys? That is the most important thing. All this other stuff doesn't matter. Okay, who she is doesn't matter. Okay, if what's his name, Fuentes himself could actually advocate for black men and boys and get stuff done, I'd be behind him too, as racist as he is.
And you know what I found ironic about that? You know, who was the president of the United States? You know what I'm saying? And think about who Joe Biden is.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
We got a sitting president, okay, whose whole history has been suspect.
They would have voted for the woman that called black men super predators.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's the ironic thing about it, man. Like, we've already, like, I can't speak for everybody else in the Black Manosphere, but the people who, I affiliate with and talk with the most, we already know what white supremacy and what white, racism is on an institutional and a systemic level. It's like we're not lost on that. Okay. So if you come to us with some half-baked pro-black position, like, we can't tolerate this, we can't listen to that. Like, okay, like, tell us something we don't know. We already know that. So it's like it's nothing brand new. But like the sensationalism based upon this, I mean, who kicked all of this off? And what was the incentive for them to kick it all off? The hyperbolic, language surrounding just Pearly. Like, first of all, Pearly ain't even got nothing to do with the Black Manosphere for real.
Nothing.
All she, like Marcus said, all she does is talk about red pill issues, dating issues. I mean, and she does talk about MRA stuff, men's rights activist stuff, and that intersects with some of the stuff that black men talk about in the Black Manosphere. But I mean, in general, like, who cares what just Pearly is saying, man? Like, I don't see why it has such resonance, with these pro-black folks. Like, I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Pro-blacks are controlled by their women. That's why. I mean, if you're in the black, I'm in the black sector because I just did a show today with my mentor, and I'm staunch pro-black, and I know how it runs. Okay, they're controlled by their women.
Dr. Thunder, we got a link for you, man. Dr. Thunder, Abuki Cabal, thank you, man. Abuki, thank you for that contribution. $20. Concrete Rose and co-hosts do more damage to the manosphere than good. Absolutely. Salute to you,
we warned them the last time. But they want to keep it up. Okay, so they set a line in the sand. Okay, well, you're on that side.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd rather drink muddy water and sleep on a hollow log. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, so like Gigi said, what's going on, G?
What's happening?
Like G said, Pearl is not a product of the Black Manosphere. She does speak general red pill issues and, again, like he said, MRA issues. And just like MGTOW, like, that, I mean, what she says is general shit. It's general shit. And some of those things overlap with us as men in America, but it's not specific to Black issues. I feel two ways about this, right? And these two ways I'm gonna say now, and I'm standing on this position. Number one, it's kind of like in the beginning where Danny went at Pearl over the B2 issue, right? And I called Danny out. I said, because I knew what that was about. It was about, her being a white girl who potentially had Black men as an audience, right? Or her appearing on Obsidian, which Danny to this day feels like the whole space is Obsidian. So because she was on Obsidian show, that means she represents the space in some funny type of way. Me and Sister George we've had conversations off the internet about this. So I feel that, you know, the B1s, they come from that motive where it's like, okay, anyone who is speaking up for men who potentially have black men as an audience should be attacked, right? Even though there's no proof of Pearl speaking to black men as a specific audience. The other issue now that's one thing. The other issue, and it's like Bernard said earlier, and I totally agree with him because it's my position, is that a lot of the issues is based on either two things. Either, like I said, black, you know, pro-black motherfuckers trying to use her against us. And then you have a bunch of people who are basically trying to, I guess, reduce some of the things that she said. Now, mind you, if you're my advocate and you say something that might be offensive or insensitive to some or even all of the group that I belong to, then you should be checked and you should apologize, which some people feel she did, some people didn't. Again, everybody's different prerogative to feel whatever way that you want to feel. I personally do not believe, and this is just my point of view, that Pearl's existence or even her videos or whatever she said in her videos will do anything specific to help us. I'm standing on that, and that's where I am. I don't necessarily advocate that people don't watch her channel or that they cancel her, any of that shit. Not that it would make a difference anyway. I understand where some people are coming because there's two extremes there. There's, again, the pro-black extreme and the super conservative extreme, which says disregard anything that comes out of her mouth that's crazy because she's white and that's how white people talk. No, that doesn't work for me, right? But if you like her content, listen to her content, I think that a lot of things that have come out of her channel are good, right? She talk crazy, just like if any of these black women have said things crazy, they get checked, she get checked. I've even called out some of the guys in this space. And, you know, I've been, like somebody said, I think Bernard said, you know, his reaction, Angry Man's reaction to this is pretty consistent with who he is. My reaction to this has been pretty consistent with who I am. I check the black females. I check some of the guys here. I call them out by name. So for me to say, oh, well, it's cool for Pearl and y'all niggas is in y'all feelings. Listen, if it offended you, then you have the right to be offended and feel that way. You don't necessarily get to shame others who are not offended, right? So I'm not going to shame anybody who's not offended. You can fuck with her if you want. But at the end of the day, the way I stand, and you know, at the end of this is, I personally do not feel that in the grand scheme of things, just Pearly things, whether intentional or unintentional, will do anything for black men specifically. Because she speaks to men's issues. Yeah. I mean, shit, not even the MRAs could get their shit in effect. I don't think that her presence, and you know, again, her shit is entertainment and it's entertaining. And she has some guests on who say some real good shit. But as far as anything real, it is my position that no, I don't, and I'm talking about specific to black men, things that BGS talks about, or Dr. T talks about, or that you, Ron, talk about, or that you, Gigi, talk about. I don't think that Pearl is going to be able to do anything for any of those black male or black community or black man and woman relationship related issues. I don't think so. That's
thank you, John Farr, for the link. We had Dr. Thunder in the house and Edward Anderson. Dr. Thunder, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. It's good to hear you, brothers. I listen to y'all's content. This This is like the dream team. These are folks that I learned from. So it's nice to be on this panel. But Pearly Gate, not to be confused with the Pearly Gates. Pearly Gate is an interesting development. I've used this whole thing as a way to sort of talk about, and this is what everybody has done, as a way to talk about things that are of interest to me, right? I'm not surprised that something like this would go down. What is she, 26? Right? Young means dumb. Now that's not the same as giving somebody an excuse for making mistakes, because it appears that she had some opportunities to perhaps to change course on a few things. See, the issue with me is not her interviewing Fuentes. The issue was the stuff that came out afterwards. That was more of an issue. And when you hear white folks, and see, this is something I think a lot of brothers are confused by, because it seems that she's saying a lot of things that seem to be taking up our position. And so brothers forget that she's a white woman. Okay. She's a member of the dominant society, right? She's a beneficiary of the dominant society. And so that's been her life's experience. I don't think it means that she's necessarily any more racist than anyone else, but you have to look at someone with the side eye. You have to look at white folks with the side eye that quote people like Thomas Sowell to make their bootstrap argument. Okay, so that's the primary issue that I've had with Pearl. I think, however, she's done, the stuff that she says. She's not a thought leader. She's just parroting points. I think the rapid growth of her platform was because the powers that be, I believe BGS is correct. They were seeking for someone that seemed to be a little bit more palatable than Andrew Tate to sort of fill that vacuum. But, I did a stream earlier today, and I was saying that, there's colonizing agents from the right and the left. It's just they look different. Now, some of the, I think, faux pas that she made in the aftermath of interviewing Fuentes sort of had a sort of colonizer sort of vibe to them. They perked my ears up. But I don't think that it's because she is particularly strategic or nefarious. I just believe it's because she's young and she didn't know any better than to say certain things, and she's quoting Thomas Sowell, but she doesn't understand how to understand Thomas Sowell. So that's my general criticism. I think there's a bunch of stuff that doesn't go together, a bunch of issues that got kind of thrown into one big pot that they don't necessarily go together. I think many of them, there is some merit to those issues, but they don't necessarily combine to make some sort of grand point and, create this sort of apocalypse event or something, which has been very, very strange. This thing has life far beyond what I thought it was going to last, so what have we been on this for, like 2 weeks now? I thought that this was going to be over in like 3 days.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hold on. Let me shout out Charles D. Curry. Thank you for that super chat, my brother. Thank you for that. I also want to thank Stack of Stars, man. Thank you for that. 1999 super chat. Thank you for supporting the content and what have you. We got 210 people that are watching. Y'all get those likes up. Y'all share. Y'all subscribe to the channel. You can also hit me up with Cash App, $BMI 3000 Cash App, $sign BMI. Hold on, Gigi. Before you jump in there, Ed Anderson is here. I want him to get in.
Hey, real quick, if I can just finish my thing. So with respect to Keisha, believing that she has a voice in the space, it's really interesting to me. You know, the space. First of all, it's called Manosphere. So, what about the title Manosphere makes you think that you're supposed to have a voice if you're not a man? Right? So there's that issue. And it's just the general issue of why is it so controversial and why is it so threatening for Black men to have a voice and to be able to say what they want to say about what they want to say it about? Why do you think that affects you? Look, men are always going to talk about women. Women are always going to talk about men. That's just the nature of things. All right. But why is it that you feel that you need to have a vote all the time and stuff that has nothing to do with you? All right, man.
Okay. Ed Anderson, Marvel 318, thank you for that support, Marvel 318. We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your volume is a little low. Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, everybody's been saying that my volume is low. All right, I got this. Hold on, let me turn this off. I got it. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
Okay, yeah, I had a headphone. So here's my thing with all this, and for the sake of Green Gorilla, I'll try not to have a whole soliloquy. The issue that I have with this, and it's, is everybody's making assumptions as far as how much support that she has from our space. And that's kind of the biggest thing that is really making me annoyed. Even people in this space are making this assumption that, like, I mean, for real, I got a question. I want to ask Marcus this. What percentage of folks in this space do you think is supporting her channel?
Very small. The reason why I say that is because, and I'm glad you asked me that question, because I think people misunderstand my position. Even I'm not making a million videos on it. I'm just not going to do it. Right. If you look at the Manosphere's top creators and you look at their numbers, even the women that we follow, it's nowhere near what Pearl's numbers are.
Well, no, absolutely. And because you've explained your position well. My thing is, I asked that because I don't know where everybody is getting this overwhelming. Nobody's really looked. So, for example, yesterday I actually went and looked. I went through the history of like how she grew. A year ago, she was on Fresh and Fit. When shorts came out, that's when you started to see her accelerate. When they started being experimented on with June, July, August, that's when she really started to accelerate. Like right there is when she started to get like 50, 60,000 subscribers. In October, that's when her feed situation happened. The first time, round one, she was on the Lapeef network around that same time, right? And which is 5 months ago. And she was, and then she talked to Obsidian for the first time. That's and that was right around that point. That's the closest she came to our space. And so then fast forward, now you got January where the Me Too situation happened with her, so she had to go back. She went back to Obsidian, and then now. So it's like, what I would ask everybody that's trying to play this game of she's always been here. My thing is, produce a video that she's being talked about, not she's on, but she's being talked about. And what's the oldest one you can find in the space? Nobody's producing that. Also, if Pearl was in here, why wouldn't other white women be in here? Why wouldn't other white men be in here? You'd be hard pressed to find any white person anywhere in this space. And that includes the black conservatives. You would be hard pressed to find that. So what people are essentially doing is making stuff up and arguing based on made up data and facts. I actually found, I have no problem.
They need it to be true for them to come at us for saying what we're saying. They needed to look.
But you got people that's even internal to this space is making arguments. Like when people even like for instance, and you have a right to say what you say, but even the concept, and this is not putting this on you. I'm just saying what people would say, well, people can listen to who they want to listen to. And then you got people arguing what we gonna do. I'm like, you can't unsubscribe for somebody you're not subscribed to. You can't unshare a video you never shared. You can't stop talking about somebody you're not really talking about. The truth is, the most promotion she has had in the Black Manosphere has been from everybody trying to make content from her. O'Shea is on video number 26. And even outside of O'Shea, like everybody that wants to play I'm trying to protect Black women or protect the idea of slavery. How many people have made videos about slavery?
Hey, you know what, Ed? You just hit the bull. You just hit the bullseye.
All right, well, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you take the baton because I know you've been waiting.
Man, look, Ed. At the end of the day, people are making content about Just Pearly because Just Pearly is a big target for one because she's got so many followers and subscribers. It's the same thing that people did with Kevin Samuels or anybody else who has the kind of or Andrew Tate or anybody else. She's trending, so people are commenting on it, and they're using what she's done in terms of gaining a following in order to big themselves up. These people, man, like most of these people, I'm just my personal thoughts are that most of the people in the Manosphere who are talking about this over and over again, but especially people outside of the Manosphere, like Jason Black, other Black nationalist content creators or whatever, they don't care, man. They just want to trend just like everybody else, bro. So they're utilizing this subject matter as a means by which to, gain more clicks and likes. I only talked about it one time, and I was off to something else. But you are right about the fact that, like, O'Shea, this is 26th video. He is a thumbnail and an analytics genius. He knows what's going to trend and what's going to get him more clicks, what's going to get more subscribers and followers. I'm not knocking the man. You know what I'm saying? He has the right to do what he wants. But this issue it's hyperbolic to me. All of it is hyperbolic. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but for 10 seconds. O'Shea did, at the time I counted a couple of days ago, he did 22 videos on Pearl, and that equaled up to 4 hours as far as the time and 1 million views. Go ahead.
All I wanted to do was utilize the Just Pearly situation to have a conversation, to be a springboard for conversations about some of the opinions that are had by men inside of the Manosphere. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, well, you can get mad at Pearly, but you got a contingency in the Black Manosphere who talk about things that I consider to be anti-Black.
Right.
No disrespect, but I mean, to me, that's how I perceive it. You got a lot of guys who say things that I think are deprecating to Black men who might not be as privileged as they are, or men who've been caught in the snares of the United States crucible in ways that they maybe have not. Okay, and so my only thing is like looking at the data, like Ron O'Neill mentioned a long time ago when the stream first started about Michelle Alexander and what she said about the new Jim Crow. Like, have Black men in the Manosphere read that and given it any consideration? This is a law professor, you know what I'm saying, who came to the bat for Black men and said there's something awry in the criminal justice system. We need to take a closer and a more scrutinizing look at it and find out why is it that 1/3 of the Black male population have contact with the criminal justice system of mostly nonviolent crimes. Why is that? Okay, and so I'm not here to make excuses for anybody or anything like that, because crime does have to be punished. We understand that, but we're asking that, especially if you are attuned to justice, like, why are we hyper surveilled and hyper penalized for what everybody else is doing in this culture. Okay, why? And so my whole thing is, if you care about black men, like as a whole, and not just care about how you are perceived in contradistinction to other black men, then why would you, create these schisms and these divisions? That's my only thing, right? So I use that conversation as a springboard to have the Just Pearly conversation as a springboard to have that larger conversation. But at the end of the day, bro, Just Pearly, man, is like, you got Jordan Peterson, who says some things that I think are problematic related to race. Okay, like white people just say problematic things on the liberal side and the conservative side that are problematic related to race. Okay, it's just the truth. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Just be shocked that you got a white woman saying something that's like, like inaccurate about race? It's not.
Yeah, Angry Man said that too, like the level of outrage. And that's what most of the folks in the black men. So here's the thing. You got two camps. You got the camp that you kind of mentioned. Most of those people that you would say is kind of anti-black, people that's like in that camp as far as their rhetoric, they either at best don't think what she said was the warrants the outrage, or they'll say that's not really what she said, quoted, which I can understand how they get there, or they'll outright support her. And then they'll sit here and say, kind of, they're on the so what camp. That's not the majority of the space. And I know you're saying you didn't allude that it was, but it's not. And everybody's trying to make it, like, for example, another thing that's pissing me off, we're all on here. I mean, I'm not going to talk shit about Obsidian, but Obsidian don't represent, like, what we think. Like Dr. Tia Sean has, what, like 40-something thousand subscribers? Ain't nobody asking what the fuck he think about this. And I'm talking about women in the space. I'm not talking about outsiders. I'm not talking about somebody like a FD where even though he's full of crack, it can be plausible why he don't know the ins and outs. But even FD out of his own mouth said that he didn't think that it was that many people watching Pearl from this space. And it didn't make sense as to the but those are the videos he saw. He said that on BGS and stuff. So my point is that you got people that they know where the players are, and they're going out of their way to talk to Obsidian and then say what Obsidian says is what everybody in the space says. When Obsidian is really the least influential of like the bigger folks in the space. And they're doing that on purpose. And I said, are y'all trying to take over the space by using the white shit?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. So the space is being misrepresented by these people I'm calling Keisha. Okay. Because I saw the interview that he did. I'm gonna say he had it with Shay Sade, and she is asking him very, narrow questions about what the Black Manosphere believes and what they stand for and all that kind of stuff. And she was putting on Dr. T.S. Johnson's, black male political agenda. And what you have there, just a clear misunderstanding of what this space is, not understanding that we are diverse in terms of ideology, in terms of, backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. I mean, as Ed was saying, I mean, you got people out here because of O'Shea, because O'Shea's done, 100 videos or whatever. This whole thing is reduced to O'Shea. If it's not reduced to O'Shea, it's reduced to Obsidian, as though they represent everything that's going on in the Black Manosphere. So what's happening, I'm seeing, is this it's really a defamation. You're defaming the space. You're not taking into consideration, or you don't even consent. You're not even curious about what this thing is in the different voices and different elements that are in the Black Manosphere. And I think that that's the most damning part of it right now from these people, these Keishas, who have claimed to have some type of solidarity with us. Charles Curry, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Hey,
Ronald, I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta go. Give somebody my 2 cents. Speaking of that, but I want people to stay here, so I ain't gonna say where that is. So anyway, appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey,
so go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say or ask: is there any? I'm sure there is not any official Black Manosphere manifesto, and so right? So what? So what's interesting is anyone outside of people that are actually in the space attempting to define or create some clarity on what this space is saying, that's inherently problematic. So and that's even if they mean well. We yeah, that's it.
But I mean, you got to think about it, man. Like Dr. Ronald Neal and I have been through, the academy. Okay, so like within any discipline, there's going to be a multiplicity of different persons with different positions within that discipline. Okay, and even within an enclave, like say for example, feminism, you got different variants and different, kinds of feminism. It's not a one size fits all univocal, declarative political position. You got radical feminists, you got Marxist feminists, you got equity feminists, you got intersectional feminists, you got all different kinds. And so you can't pigeonhole all of the Black manosphere into one pile and then say, oh, aha, this guy said X, so all of the Black manosphere is Z. It just it's an intellectually lazy or an intellectually dishonest kind of discourse. Okay. But at the end of the day, if they have that big, like most of the people, man, who are making these kind of claims that are hyperbolic, you have the opportunity to come talk to Black men in the manosphere. They have the capacity. We open up our dialogue for anybody to really come and talk to us and to access us to see what our position actually is. But instead of engaging, they don't really want to engage. They just want to pigeonhole and categorize so they can basically demonize, what's coming out of the space and not give it any kind of import or serious regard. So it is what it is. So a long time ago, I wanted to do a documentary only so that a clear position could be taken about what some of the issues that Black men in what that's the only thing I wanted to do, was to give voice to a group of people who had credentials who could, explain clearly what some of the misgivings that Black men have about dating, about sexual, violence, about intimate partner violence, about, how Black men are faring in the economy, in the market. And that way you can have, a kind of like a publicity campaign. I mean, you can talk about dating, but like policymakers are not really going to give that much attention to dating and mating issues. I mean, it's not going to happen, man. So, but what they will give voice to is maybe perhaps 50-50 custody in the family court system, maybe perhaps amending some of the, the punitiveness and the draconian, kind of punishment that goes along with child support. Maybe that might be on the table. It's not talking about, well, these chicks, the hell with these 304s. Like, come on, like you're gonna talk to a congressperson, or a policymaker, you're not gonna be talking. You're not gonna have conversations about 304. I mean,
the only time that you can say, inappropriate stuff like that is if you're a woman. Talking to Maxine Waters, she'll co-sign your BS, but ain't nobody gonna listen to us. You're right.
Check this out. Even if they do listen to us, like to me personally, like I don't know how to contain myself without being like candid and upfront and kind of vulgar. Like personally, like Dr. Johnson is somebody who I think knows how to have that kind of discourse in an impersonal and in an objective manner. Okay, that's just my opinion. Now, me, I don't care. Okay, but
go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I mean, I can have a conversation with people as long as they either are being honest or they ain't disrespecting me. The thing is this, right? First of all, I feel like talking to these people and with gloves on doesn't get us anywhere. That's number one. Number two is as far as what we what you were saying about people putting Pearl on the Black manosphere. They're not trying to be honest. So of course they're not going to show up to have any discussions with anybody. They're not looking for truth. You know, everybody that's doing that, they have an agenda. Either it's a financial agenda, or a pro-black woman agenda, or you know, as far as the conservative side, you know, like Ed said earlier, you know, there is a contingency of guys, and I ain't gonna say what percent or how many, that are trying to dismiss what she said as, oh, you know, oh, it ain't no problem, this and that and the other. And those super conservative cats, you know, look, let me straight up say it, you know, it's some level of cooning going on, right? But at the end of the day, I don't, you know, do what you want. Again, nobody's coming here to have any honest discussions because they don't want us here in the first place. They don't want us talking in the first place. Anybody that's inside the space that is making that claim should get side out. All right? I've been saying this a long time. Anybody that's inside of the space talking about Pearl is, you know, a product of the Black Manosphere, or that she's its leader, or its new leader, or any of that, any type of language like that should get side-eyed. Because what that means is they not really about what we talk about neither. Again, I don't care who it is, you know, and I understand what you say, G, when you talk about, you know, the guys who are in the space who talk against black men, because, you know, I'm very vocal about that. But it's not just the conservative dudes. We got some B1 niggas in here posing as manosphere. Or black manosphere, I should say. You got the super conservative coon side of the black manosphere that's posing like they for black men when they really are hating. And then you got on the other side, you got dudes posing as black manosphere who are really pro Keisha.
Yeah, I call them cats on the right you're talking about. I call them bootstrap bros.
Well, you got bootstrap bros, right? And then on the other side you got dudes that's campaigning for Keisha. They caping for Keisha, right? They not SYs. You know, we hear a lot of terms in this SYSBM, black men first, this and that and the other. And then you listen to people. The thing is, we can make a video calling out the obvious. We can call out Keisha, right? But as soon as you call out these niggas as an issue, right? Either you gonna get heat for calling out the super conservative dudes who want you to ignore everything that's against you in this country, or you gonna get called out or hated on for calling out the fake black manosphere dudes that's really B1 niggas because they're popular and they're entertaining and a lot of people fuck with them, right? You gonna get either way, right? So it is what it is. Like every you know, people are gonna use this chick to either bolster their numbers or as a weapon against us, or, you know, like again the super right wing dudes. Once again, the way I feel is this: in the same way MGTOW, even though they agreed with us on men's issues, as soon as you brought up the conversation about racial issues affecting black men, them motherfuckers went tone deaf. Who remembers that?
I remember,
Who remembers that? Right? So you and the white men of MGTOW, y'all can talk about, you know, men go through this and women do this, and they on your side, you know. Black men thought they had some sort of brotherhood in MGTOW with these white guys, right? I see Pearl the same way. She talks about men's issues. She advocates for men, not black men, but men, right? But then if she sounds to me like the old school MGTOWs. But she just happens to be a white woman. Now, am I triggered or is it bothering me? No, it's not. Look, they all get side-eyed from me. All of them. All of them.
Let me get this super chat. The lie. Thank you, Otis, for that. The lie they told us to co-opt black men. They see the progress of the space has made, and they want the men. It's always about getting black men told. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Otis. We also have support from Aaron Peters. Thank you, brother, for that. That super chat. The Scarlet Tax, thanks for what you do. And the brothers on the panel, thanks for you, my brother. Thank you for all of the support. Y'all remember to y'all share, y'all like, and y'all subscribe. We got 193 people watching. We're not going to be here forever, guys, because I know you guys got lives and everything. And it is Tuesday night. Some of y'all got to get up early in the morning and work and teach and all that kind of stuff. But hold up, Jam Far. Hold up, we got one more, Jam Far. Thank you again. Women Pro-Blacks are utilizing Pearl as a proxy to center and elevate themselves in the space's consciousness. Thank you for that, my brother. You want to say something, 100?
Yeah, this is what I want. Like, in the same vein that Black women thought that white feminism would help them out, right? Because they're all women, right? But white feminism didn't do anything for Black women's particular issues, right? And they know it. I mean, actually made they shit worse. The same way that in the beginning, Black men thought MGTOW or MRA would help our particular, issues as Black men. I think that it's a mistake to think that Pearl will move the needle on Black issues as far as things that are spoken on in the Black Manosphere, Black boys, literacy rates, our access, denial of access to our kids, and all of these crime rates and things like that. Again, it's good content. It's good to hear somebody talking about it. It's good to get the message out there. Again, whether intentional or unintentional, I don't see her really speaking to that. If she's not speaking to, how would we expect somebody like Pearl? And again, I'm not discouraging anybody from listening to her content, or I'm not asking you to hate her or anything like that, or even to be triggered by her words, but I'm just saying, if she's not talking the talk that we're talking, the Monahan talk, you understand? The no father in the home talk. If she's not talking about those things, then how will those things get addressed through Pearl if they're not part of the conversation? She's talking about dating, just like Fresh and Fit talks about dating. When girls get older and they're leftover women and all of that type, she's talking about that. Maybe Pearl might get a nigga some box, but she ain't gonna do anything for Black masculinist issues. I don't see the connection.
No. 7 Cupid, thank you for that. He says this is typical. Use a small minority of Black men to demonize the whole textbook white supremacy. All right, so here's the big question: do we need, and this is where I'm going when I ask the question, is why is Keisha in our space? Why is she here? Is it time to turn our manosphere into a Keisha-free space? I think we need to go ahead and turn this thing into a Keisha-free space. That Keisha.
This is interesting because you hear sort of Manosphere 1.0 folks say, see, this is why we should have never allowed women in the space in the first place. That kind of you hear that sort of sentiment. I don't think that the women are necessarily an issue for the space. And in many cases, it just does something different if a woman is saying the things that we are saying with respect to the ability to actually recruit other women. But that's a separate issue and not central to, it seems to me, the purpose of the space. The purpose is about men collaborating with men, sharing their stories. So women don't really have a space in that. But if a woman wants to listen, if she wants to listen quietly, without the expectation that the conversation will be catered for her hearing. See, that's the issue. See, that's That's the issue right there. Is because often when women get in the room, there is a natural tendency for the men to change the way that they talk. And then there's also this expectation that the woman will have that now the conversation is being intentionally modified to be more palatable for her consumption. And then when you don't do that, then that's when they try to flag your stuff. And so yeah, it's tough on an open forum like YouTube to sort of create specific parameters to control that whole thing. But those are my thoughts.
Gigi, what do you think? Is it time for us to make our space Keisha free? Is Gigi still there? I don't know if he's still.
This is YouTube.
Hold on. I had you muted. Would you repeat it again?
Well, I mean, what I said is that you can't prevent them from saying, anything because the space is public. I mean, it's, YouTube is owned by Google and we can't restrict them. However, we can check them and say, hey, look, lady, you don't run what we talk about. You're not the person who sets the agenda in the space. Now, I mean, you can talk about some things and set the agenda on your channel or whatever the case may be, but you're not the focal point of what takes place in the Black Manosphere. But I mean, because people eat off of it, this is a business enterprise for some people, and so more so than it is an activist enterprise. And so, I say, at the end of the day, you can't stop them from saying anything, but you can stop giving them attention. That you can do. I mean, but it's on Black men to do that. It's up to Black men to decide what is valuable and what is, worthy of their time in terms of viewing. Okay, it's on them. Like if they want to be, pulled into the sensationalism and the lower chakra conversation, which is just about 304s and dating and all of that, then I mean that's where they're going to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, but that's where the popularity is, because that's where most people are spiritually and psychically. That's just where they are. But my only thought is, look, we've been doing as best as we can, man, to try to, inform people about issues related to Black men on a whole bunch of different fronts. It's up for Black men themselves to decide what's worthy of their attention and their time. But it's unfortunate that so much time is allocated to, I call it booty chatter. And not to say that women aren't important. I mean, to have conversations about them, but like, I've gotten to the point where it's almost like I don't have anything left to say about them. I talked about intimate partner violence. I talked about sexual assault. I talked about Black men being on the downwardly mobile track. Like, what else? What else can we really actually say other than different, kind of, modalities of the same conversation? But like a person like so. Let me just say this because it was on my mind when you came in. Like one of the persons who made the red pill concept, like popular, was a white woman. You know that, right? Like initially. Like a woman, you ever heard of the documentary, The Red Pill, by the woman?
Yeah, The Red Pill, Cassie J. Yeah.
She's the one that popularized this whole terminology surrounding the red pill.
She did.
But I would say that at least the way she approached it was in an entirely different manner than, say, for example, a person like Just Pearly approached the issue. Okay, I mean, she just did it in a more sophisticated way.
Well, but she also wasn't really. That's interesting because what Cassie J was doing, most folks wouldn't really consider that red pill. The name was in the movie, but it was more of an MRA kind of thing, and then a story about her personal conversion from being a feminist to something else. It's interesting because I thought that the she obviously was being influenced by other folks using that terminology and decided to use that term as a way to sort of market. It's a clever marketing of the movie. But I think you're right that she is responsible for more of a mainstream knowledge of the term red pill. But what it was that she was saying is not what it is that most people mean when they say red pill. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, well, to me, like, I had been listening to Paul Elam for a long time before I even, started listening to people in the Black Manosphere, because I didn't even know the Black Manosphere existed until Dr. Tia Johnson introduced me to it. Like, I heard of Tommy Sotomayor and stuff like that, but I wasn't really I'd never really even paid attention to YouTube. YouTube wasn't really on my radar in terms of how, I consumed content and how I spent my time. So, if you're not into social media like that, I used to, put posts back and forth on Facebook, but my primary mode of communication, and the transference of ideas, it never was on YouTube. I mean, aside from Facebook and talking to students, I never really had, that much to say, but at the end of the day, I think that there is a place, for white people to talk about issues about, what's going wrong with feminism. Okay. Anybody who critiques feminism and has some sort of, opinion about it related to, how men are getting the shaft and how we've overshot, I think it's a valuable conversation, but they're not going to talk about how it impacts Black men, because they're not Black men. So,
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. So, Jamfar, thank you for that. The Black Manosphere Fear, is a pre-established social network in politics and power, co-opting a network as a force multiplier to victim. Thank you for that. My brother Marcus, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. So what I want Black men listening to me talk right now is to realize this. When you speak on issues that affect Black men, right wingers hear that as a liberal talking point. Okay, let's start there. When you talk about men's issue, MGTOW, MRA, that stuff tends to lean conservative. Anytime you talk about what Black men are dealing with, it sounds to them as liberal. The same way we talk about what Black women are going through, because Black women are in line with the Democrats, and a lot of Black men see themselves as conservative. Even when you talk to Black men who are conservative and you talk about issues relating to Black men, they hear that, they take that as liberalism. So understand, when you have anybody that's on the right, alt-right, whatever the case may be, understand that your issues to them sound like leftist bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember that. Men's issues, but Black men's issues. They dismiss anything that you're going through as a Black man in this country as a liberal talking point.
And then the liberals, when you start talking about Black men's issues, the first thing they say is, but what about the Black women?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Black men exist in kind of a purgatory with our shit. Okay. So let me address the Keisha thing. As far as Keisha's in our space, I'm with G says we can't control who makes video, right? Another thing we can't control is who watches those videos, right? But and me and G have had this conversation, right? What we can control, and I'm talking about as far as the creators, is who we validate and who we don't, right? So there are people in this space who are immediately associated with the Black Manosphere by name. Immediately associated, right? I feel like if we're going to engage, and I'm with Dr. Thunder when he says a lot of our talking points sound better coming out of women's mouths, the same way that when it comes to racism, a lot of black talking points come out of white people's mouths better. You understand? The same way that Fox News uses black people to talk down on black people, right? It's proxy shit, right? So yeah, B1 is using Pearl as a proxy. I agree with that. This is the thing, right? Just like at the top of this discussion, we were talking about my engagement with, Sister George and Concrete Rose. Anytime I talk to these women, if they say something crazy, I hold them to it. I don't let it go by. I don't kiki with them and this and that. Play along to get along shit. We're cool and they take it in stride. But if they didn't, then it'll be that. It wouldn't change. It's like Doc said, Dr. Thunder said, the tone of the discussion tends to change once the women enter the room and motherfuckers start censoring themselves and yo, I'm not saying this and whatever. And then we start breaking out potpourri and lavender and shit like that because the women are in the room and we gotta change we kind of code switch, right? The locker room talk ceases because women are in the space. And we can't do that shit. At the end of the day, and when I say we, I do mean the guys who are immediately associated with the Black Manosphere by name, right? There's a lot of non-confrontational energy when it comes to that type of shit, right? And of course, I get looked at as the confrontational guy. That's cool with me. That's cool. I don't give a fuck. But if these women who are guests in the space say something crazy, that needs to be called out or spoken. However one wishes to do it, that's cool. Or there needs to be a discussion between the men in the space and those women. Now, they may say, well, fuck you, I ain't got to talk to y'all. But
so there's can I jump in real quick? There's a built-in issue here. And it's sort of the elephant in the room. So the elephant in the room is with what it is that you're talking about, because it often is a case that men are very inviting and friendly to the women and they're willing to help them out and like this. But then what happens is often the women will switch it up. And the problem with the switch up is that women get subscribers way easier than the dudes do. So say, I mean, I have 8,500 subscribers. So say I help somebody, they blow up to, they got 35, 40, 50,000 subs, right? And then I try to call them and say, hey, you said some stuff and I just wanted to talk to you because I didn't want to do it in public. I wanted to talk to you about this. They're going to be like, but my audience digs this. So F you, thanks for helping, but the door is over there, So that's a real issue. It creates a power dynamic. Yeah, and you can't really do anything about it.
Well, the thing is this: if nobody's gonna say nothing, then we can't complain. If nobody's gonna call it out, then you can't complain. And I've said this before: if you're not gonna call out the people who are allegedly waving Black Manosphere flag for saying things that are in contradiction to a black male agenda, then you can't complain when that message gets lumped into the rest of the message. It's like saying to the good cop, hey, don't complain that we call you all dirty if you don't want to call out the corruption. Right? So
I think you're right. I think you're right, man. I'm not my point was not to disagree with you. I think you're totally right. It's just challenging to navigate. Go ahead.
Right. I didn't take it that way because I understand what you're saying. you know, because then you end up having a war with someone who has this big base, and you have a smaller channel, and they have this big base, and them and their entire, you know, follower base, subscriber base is now looking at you crazy. Trust me, I can relate. Okay. So what I'm saying is, we can't complain then if nobody's gonna say nothing. If we just going, you know, gonna just chill and play along to get along and shit like that, then we can't complain. Now, of course, we can't shut down their YouTube. We can't do this. We can't do that. The best you can do is say, hey, she's tripping over there with the shit she said, right? You know, sometimes I leave comments on these women's channels. Sometimes I'm in their chat. Sometimes I'm on their panels. And I think, you know, that needs to happen. I mean, if they block you, they block you. But again, we have our own platforms, and if we have this issue, and Ron, I appreciate you for even making this video, right? Because a lot of times when, you know, people do these things, and then it's like, okay, you know, oh, why he's making that video? Is he hating on the women and this and that and the other? And sometimes you got to take the chance that people might say that to get the conversation going. You got to do it, right? Because this is all we have, gentlemen. After this, there is none.
Yeah.
So if they take it over, this should be like the, you know, if we had 80 white rappers, right? Right? You got, you know, you got 80 white rappers, and you know they selling records. They selling more records than the black rappers. Then if they say some off-color shit or whatever, oh, you got to call that out. But at that point, you let it happen, and now they own it. Now they own it. So you know, look, like I said, man, you know, I've made my video on this topic, you know, before, and it is what it is, and I've kind of like stood out on the firing line alone with it. At least that's how I feel about it. So if I state in my position, if nobody else going to state their position, then what happens is the silence becomes support. The silence becomes support. So if one person is saying that they look like the odd man out and everybody else is cool with it, so nigga, you tripping. Everybody else is cool with it, right? But then it gets to the point where you got a bunch of, like you say, Keishas with hundreds of thousands of subscribers talking about Black Manosphere stuff. So then now, once they get that big and we let it happen without any sort of pushback, then now that space becomes, or this space becomes about what they're saying, and now they get to throw their salt and pepper on top of the shit, and that's what the message becomes.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, brothers. I want to acknowledge the cash app from Rodney Jackson. Thank you for that support. Thank you again, Abuki Cabal. Kabuki says, I asked Chat GPT how has feminism harmed the family. The AI told me that even to think that it has was misogynistic and revoked my paid membership. So gentlemen, how do we deal with this? Whoa, even the AI is on some feminist stuff. That's a big, we're gonna have to come back to that, Abuki Cabal. But guys, we've been here, you know, for a while. I appreciate you guys coming up and speaking to the questions and the conversation. And yes, Marcus, you know, I'm with it. If they're offended by this stream, you know, they're just gonna have to be offended. This is something that we have to deal with, because we need to center, you know, Black men's experiences and issues and concerns without having all these other, you know, distractions and everything. And I do think if the space completely cannot be Keisha free, okay, I think the brothers who do content, I think we need Keisha free content, and we need Keisha creators, okay? And so that we would not be undermined by a lot of these people. So we're gonna wrap up, and I'm gonna give you guys the last words, and we'll just go in order. I'll start with Gigi, and then Marcus and Dr. Thunder, and we'll call it a night.
Okay, so let me just say this, man. No offense to the content creators out here, man, but we got to understand, man, that social media popularity is not a substitute for double-blind peer-reviewed research, man. And like where the battle actually, for Black men's policy issues is really like where it's going to be waged. The Black Manosphere is a public. Now, if we want to have private sessions, we can do it on Patreon, or we can have memberships to where people who are really actually serious and attentive to the issues can come and peruse the content, like more serious policy-based content. It's possible, but we got to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. A lot of people are here for entertainment. I don't know how you stop that, but I do know that if you want to be serious about it, we'll have to get into these little private membership areas and have these real substantive conversations. That's the only way I personally feel it's going to really actually gain any traction, and to try to do things beyond the scope and the range of social media, which I think it's a tool. You can reach millions of people through social media. We know this, but we also know that our social media viewership is narrow in relation to other people, because the algorithm doesn't tend to favor the kind of content that we create, or either we're not marketing it properly. I don't know what it is, okay, but we for sure typically don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. It doesn't happen, okay. So maybe perhaps moving things to Patreon and having private sessions might be the way to resolve some of the issues and to get past the chicanery. So,
thank you. Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Marcus Aurelius. Keep on 100.
Yeah, right. I agree with G. I of course, I think the algorithm is against us. Dudes get shadow banned. I got 8,000 subs, and I'll get 400 views on a video, and people are telling me that they didn't see the notification or it's not on their feed, et cetera, et cetera. If Black men want unapologetic commentary on this platform or any other, they got to vote with either their viewership or subscribe or like. Those things, move the algorithm. Those things keep guys making content. You know what I'm saying? If you want honest and unapologetic defense or advocacy for you, you have to support it. You have to support it, man. You know what I mean? Again, it could be any one of those ways I mentioned. If you go to other people, Black men are seeking validation from everyone else except for Black men. They run into white men or white women or Black women for validation. I was asked whose side I was on. I said, I'm on the Black man's side. I'm on the Black man's side at all times. Sometimes that means being against a particular Black woman, against a particular white man, against a particular white woman, or even against a particular Black man. Because all of those demographics can be anti-Black man.
Oh, yeah.
So an attack on another Black man is not necessarily an attack on Black men. It's an attack on a Black man who's against Black men and Black male, agendas, Black male peace, Black male progress, right? And the same goes for all those other groups. I expect everyone to be anti-Black male, not just white women or white men. Everybody hates black.
Everybody.
Shout out to
Edward. Ed got it. He right about that.
Everybody, shout out to Edward Anderson. Everybody hates black men.
Yeah.
And I will, if as long as I'm on this platform, I will bust my gun at anybody that's talking like they're against any sort of black male independence, autonomy, freedom, peace of mind. I don't care who it is. And if you fuck with me, you fuck with me. And if you don't, then that's cool too. But at the end of the day, it needs to be known that this is the thing of ours, as the Italians say.
Yeah.
And
that's it. This thing of ours,
yeah. So, people give credit to who is validated by the biggest names in the space. And I mean, that's pretty much it. If I had anything else to say, I'm forgetting it now. I don't want to start rambling. But yeah, man, we only gonna get one after this shit is a wrap.
That's it. Dr. Thunder.
Yeah, thanks for thanks for allowing me to contribute. I'm always watching you, man.
Likewise.
Always watching you. I'm always watching all of you guys. It just does my heart well just to hear the kind of conversation and the nuance, the depth of thought that's going on, and it's great to be part of that. Great to be part of a community that is prioritizing black men and their issues, and to the extent that I can be a support, a help to black men and boys, I will do it. If the needle can be pushed at all in our favor at all, it will be to the great benefit of my 9-year-old son.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sirray Rogers. Good to see you, my brother. Said Mamiya Ali does good streams, pretty long but noteworthy. I would tap into his strategies a little more. And Sirray also has this other word of appreciation to all the content creators. Special thought out to Dr. Thunder. Well, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up tonight. I'm so glad that you guys came up, man. I didn't want to do this by myself, and I'm glad that you guys were around in the neighborhood and everything, because I needed your assistance with this, and because it's so important. And I need as many perspectives from content creators and people who are thinking, and specific type of content creators like you guys, and BGS was up here, then we had Ed Anderson. And so we had great contributors tonight. So I thank all you guys. And to all you guys who are watching, we're moving, we're growing. And listen, I'm just going to say it. We are remaking the Black Manosphere. That's what we're doing. We're remaking it. We are under construction. Again, because it's time for us to go in a completely different direction and not to be distracted by this nonsense. So y'all share, y'all like and subscribe, and we will see you. I will see you guys the next time around. I am the Mad Professor. Peace out and have a good night.
Peace.
Good, man. Be good.